I need to do my amazing intro. Ooh, here we go. Are you ready? Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Amazing intro. Here we go. Hello, everyone. It's me, Danduw 3D, and I'm here with one of the most amazing hair artists in the world called Hazel Brown. And they've taken some time out of their day to sit down with me and just kind of talk about hair and their experiences. So I don't know if you wanted to introduce yourself and say some little things about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Hazel Brown. I'm a lead hair artist at Royalty Digital. I've been in the games industry for like nearly 7 years now. I was a character artist for about 5 years and then specialised in hair for 2. And then I've just been made lead. So very exciting.
Mate, 7 years.
It's like nearly 7 years, so I round it up a bit, but it's been a while. It's a bit weird. Yeah, it feels fake. I feel like I'm not adding it up right, that I'm missing something. But
you started off as just a general character artist. What kind of made you switch to moving towards hair?
I got offered a job. So like, as a character artist, sort of super early on in the beginning, hated hair, couldn't stand it. And then I have this really cool thing where if I can't do something, I get really stubborn and I'm like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get good. So I like worked, got good at hair to the point where like I started to enjoy it. And then I found myself doing more of it in like my personal work and stuff. And then, so it was about 5 years being a character artist. And I got approached by Dan Royalty and said like, hey, do you want to come and be a hair artist? And at that point I was like, you know what? Yes, I do. I want to like, I was sick of it. I was like a bit fed up. I was a bit burnt out. And I was like, you know what? Because he kind of said like, we need hair doing now, but you can transition back out and do regular character art once we've got this hair done. And then I was like, okay, cool, like no pressure. So I was doing the hair and I was like, actually, coming to work, doing the hair and just doing the hair is so nice. And then more it went on, I was like, you know what, I've really got like a passion for this. So I'm going to stick with it. And now look at me.
I'm a lead. I love it.
Yeah.
That's so fun because I feel like this kind of actually perfectly moves on to a point I kind of wanted to talk about at the start, about how I feel like a lot of people are scared of doing hair. It's so funny you were saying about like when you're really stubbornly, I just want to get good at something. With me, I first did hair like years ago. I was so like scared of it that I kind of pushed myself away from ever doing hair. So I'd like strategically make my characters always wear hats, or some reason always bald. so it all kind of worked out. So like, that's so interesting that you in a way you actually find comfort in doing hair.
I think I did get lucky in that, like where I worked at Danduw, it was like the very beginning of the project, so we could establish pipelines and stuff. And my lead, Richard Smith, and also co-worker Ellie Tulloch, they kind of like, Rich established the hair pipeline, like worked at all the technical stuff, and then Ellie did like the first proper good hair, and she documented it all. And so since then I had like a little mini tutorial at work to reference, so I could just learn it properly rather than like winging it. So that I think I got like the best start in hair really that you could have, rather than like getting thrown in at the deep end and being like, make this.
I've definitely seen that before. No, that's really lucky as well. I mean, the work you produce is amazing. With that, I think with like resources online for learning hair, it can be a bit restrictive. Like I feel like it's something I talked with Leia about, where you know there is hair tutorials online. Like yours, which are amazing. They're coming out now. But before that, at least, especially when I was learning, it felt like there was such a small amount of them. And if they were there, they were for like really specific, like just straight, you know, simple hair, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like looking at your tutorials you've been doing, which I will be linking and showing on screen now, they're amazing, by the way. You, especially in your breakdowns you do on Artstation, it seems like you try and tackle complex hair like braids, dreadlocks, and like wavy hair, which I feel like that's something that you don't really see in a lot of tutorials for hair. Yeah,
it comes from a place of like, I wish people would do those tutorials, and like I want to see those tutorials, and so I'm like, oh, okay, I need to make this hairstyle. There are no tutorials. I guess I'll do it. And I like work, a lot of them, like I have to work it out as I go. And I'm like, okay, I've figured this out. The least I can do is share how I got there.
I love that. Do you feel like there's any reason why people are quite scared to tackle such complex hairs, or do you think it's just because it's so complex compared to more simple straight hairs?
I think that it's I like to think it's intimidating, but also they don't know where to start. Like there are no tutorials, so how on earth are you, like, if you're not kind of well versed in it and you haven't had that much practice to begin with, it's like, okay, now I've learned hair, oh god, I've got to learn hair again. Like it's just a lot.
The breakdowns you've done online have actually been really helpful for me. I've been
good.
Thank you. There was this one specific one you did on like dreadlocks and braids, and I remember I was working on this specific black dreadlock hair, and I was literally freaking out, going like, I just do not know how to tackle this. Looking at your breakdown, this is a complete, like, just kissing your ass right now. Using that, it helped a lot. So it's really good there are resources like yours out there, which has been super helpful. On top of that, just talking about like tackling certain hairstyles, what would you say is like the hardest hair you've ever tackled, or what would be probably the hardest hair to tackle?
Oh, I think because for me, like, if there was a hard hair, I'm, like I said before, I'm like quite stubborn, so I'm like, I'm gonna try it and I'm gonna go at it until I know how to do it, and then it's not hard anymore. It's the hair that you think is easy, but is not. So like, there's one I'm doing at work right now. It's like, at first glance, it's quite a simple hairstyle, but it's a sort of updo, and there's lots of like curls, and it's pinned up, and you're trying to match it perfectly, and there's like lots of changes in the like planar shapes of it, and like it's not hard, but it is
deceitfully
like
hard.
It's trying to match that, and like get the shapes perfectly and get the flow is quite difficult. But you like, I'd want to say, oh yeah, black hair, but then when you really get down to it, like it's sometimes easier
really
because it's a lot simpler.
It's really fun.
And you can like use, so like the locks one I did, it was like once I made that one lock, it was easy. I was just like place them all around and I'm done. Like, so yeah, I think let me say there are no hard hairs, that it's all an illusion. And every hair is doable. I think that that's my thing. It's like, you can do all of it. There is a way to do all of it.
It's inspiring. I like that. I love that. On top of, I love how you switched it to such a positive. That's amazing. You should be a politician.
Let me just not answer your question.
After I asked, I was like, that's kind of like such a shit nothing burger sentence. What's the hardest hair? No, I think that's really true. I think like there's been so many times I've tried to tackle hair and think, oh, this is going to be so easy, and then like I'll get like halfway through and go, this is just too hard, or it's so much harder than I thought it was going to be. And then the complete other way around, where I think something's going to be really hard, like especially after using your breakdowns and your tutorials with like braided hair and dreadlocks, I was like, actually, this is actually really fun to do, and not as intimidating as I think a lot of people are kind of scared to tackle it.
That's what I want. That's why I do it. Because like, I'd love to see more people trying it, doing it, realizing it's not that hard, and then kind of inspiring them to go on and be like, oh, well, if I can do that, let me try this. And then they can work some more stuff out, and then hopefully share how they did that. And then like, we've covered everything between us all.
I love that. Not to get like very deep into that topic, but I think Jerice on Twitter has, and also a lot of people in the space of that kind of hair. There's a lot of criticism of, in games especially, people are scared to tackle, braids or dreadlocks or frizzy or black hair. And I don't know, I find that really interesting why people are so scared to tackle it. And I kind of think to myself and how when I started doing hair, obviously I approached doing white hair first, because a lot of the time that's the only kind of resources are out there. So it's amazing that you have, these tutorials out there to show that there's more than just straight white hair, which is amazing.
Yeah.
On the topic of positive stuff as well, what's your favorite hair to make, or what has been the most favorite hair that you've made so far?
Oh, okay. I think so. I can like split it into two different answers. So probably, actually, you know what? I'm going to open up my Artstation just so I don't forget anything that I've done. But the first thing that comes to mind is the orc hair I made. And that was like the first personal project that I did after becoming a hair artist. And I was like, right, this is the one. Like, because I'll do characters in my personal work all the time. But then I was like, okay, with the hair on this one, I have to prove that I'm a hair artist. Like, I have to prove my worth. And so like I did it, and then I finished it, and I was like, god damn. I was like, oh, I am a hair artist. Like, I can do this. And so yeah. And so like I look at it now and I'm like, yeah, I did that. And you know how like when you're at a certain stage in your like professional career, I suppose, you look at your work and you're like, oh, I've got better since then. Like, oh, I want to delete that. That doesn't represent me anymore. But it's really nice to have kind of got to a stage with my hair, with like work that's even like a year or two old, that I'm like, oh, that still represents me. Like, I'm still good. I still got, you know, like, yeah. So, and then probably like after that, the next hair that is my favorite, that like I'm proudest of, is probably the braids that I did, like the cornrow type braids. And only because I feel like that it was a stubbornness thing. It was like I saw it because obviously Jerice was making all those posts, and I saw it and I was like, oh yeah, save it to my reference, whatever, I'll do that later. And then I saw people in the replies being like, it's too hard, this is why nobody does it, it's too complex, like it's too many tries, it's this. And I was like, you're lying.
It's like, easy.
This is easy. I was like, what are you on? And I was like, right, I'm gonna prove to you that it's easy. I've got beef with everyone. I'm like, you say it's hard, I'm coming at you. Like, I'm gonna fucking do it. So yeah, I did that, and then it turned like, I thought it was going to be easy. I did it and it was easy, and I was like, great, love that. Posted it, was really happy with it. And then I feel like for me that kind of kick-started like the next stage in my career, I suppose, because then like after that it was obviously really cool to share that resource and to encourage more people to do it. And then like I got invited to the BAFTAs to do a talk about like black hair representation in games, and then like it got me a bit more like client work at work, so like it just kind of kick-started that whole new like
amazing.
Yeah, hair really is my thing, and I really care about it, and I feel like I can make a difference with it.
That is crazy.
So, yeah.
I didn't even know that, or I just have really bad memory. That is amazing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so I'll send you a picture now actually, and you can put it in the video. Yeah, so I was saying earlier that I do this thing where I lose my train of thought. Imagine doing that on a stage.
No. Look at everyone going,
Yeah, it was horrible. Yeah, it was with a few other artists like Del Walker and Danielle. I can't remember her last name, but she's Ebonix on Twitter, and she does like black hair mods for The Sims and stuff. And yeah, she does like loads of amazing stuff. And so yeah, we were just kind of having this panel and this discussion about black hair in games and representation and stuff. And so that was like, whoa, that was amazing. Very cool.
Is that recorded somewhere? Oh,
no, I don't think so. I kind of like, yeah, people ask me that and I'm like, oh no, sorry. And I'm like, I'm kind of glad it's not, because I don't want to see it back in case I like panicked, because it was so scary. Like, it was the first time I've ever done anything like that. And then also like feeling like a fraud, because of course,
oh man,
I was like, why am I here? But yeah, it was amazing.
That's why you have the YouTube videos now. I guess that's not as intimidating, because you don't have like thousands of faces looking at you, and you can like edit and cut shit out, whereas like if I like go I'm just yeah. Yeah. I mean, on the topic, this has been such a positive talk about hair, which I think is a big thing that I want to do with these videos, is like again, like I think with this kind of stuff, whenever I think, oh, I want to make a tutorial for someone, I always imagine what I was like when I first started learning hair. And I was like super naive. I was like, oh, I hate, I don't want to tackle this. It's too scary. It's too complex. Do you feel like, when you first started doing hair, do you feel like you were quite stressed out and scared of it the first time you kind of tackled it, or?
100%. Because like you obviously, with anything you do, like you're a character artist, you're like, okay, I'm here, I want to do good art. And then when you're trying and you're trying and you're trying and you just can't do it, that is like the most scary thing for me, because I was just like, oh my god, I can't do it. I can't find out how to do it, and I can't work it out. What am I supposed to do? I'm gonna get sacked. Like it was never that serious, but yeah, it's very, very intimidating.
I love that. So like, do you feel like now you're at a point where you're super comfortable with hair? I mean, it seems that way, that you're at a point now where it's like, I can do any hair.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm scared because I feel like there's going to be something that catches me out, but then I try and remind myself of like, oh yeah, I do know what I'm doing, and I think having the character artist background as well helps me sort of be more open to like different ways of doing things. So like, for example, like, with the locks or something, it's as simple as putting it on tubes, or like the braids, you don't have to make the braids out of hair cards. You can just do some geometry and put it's kind of obvious stuff like that. But for a while I thought, oh, with hair, everything has to be on a card and it has to be a certain way, and it's like, actually it doesn't. You can do things in a sort of back to front way and in a kind of unconventional way, and it will work.
Speaking of that as well, I had quite a heated discussion with Leia about the use of GS curve or not GS curve. I do my hair manually with soft select in Maya.
But
everyone I talk to is like, I do this, and they go, "You're a fucking idiot." I'm like, yeah.
I don't know if I'd go that far. I might go with you're a fucking cretin.
Oh yeah, I remember. I'm on her side. I'm sorry. Okay, I half agree. Like, I think your technique shows that there is lots of different ways to do it, and that it doesn't have to be done in a certain way. However, if you are just placing cards, you're crazy. But if you're learning, you're going to be making mistakes. GS curves makes it so easy to undo things, and to switch out your UVs, or move a card or do something without it being completely destructive. Because I don't know, maybe I'm just really shit with soft select as well. I'm probably not good at your technique, but whenever I do it, I put a card down, and if it doesn't go right first time, I've broken it. I've made the card all fucky, and I'm like, I have to delete it and start again. Whereas GS goes, but you don't have to do that. You can twist it, you can move it, you can duplicate it, you can change the UVs really, really easily.
I'm gonna put a GS curve link in the description.
Yes.
For everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's 2 for 2 now. I probably need to download GS Curve. Also, on another point, to not just beat myself up about not using GS Curve. So I know you have a Discord community as well. Not to put you on the spot, but are you okay with me putting that in the description for people to join if they're?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I know that a big thing you kind of talked about here is about you want to share knowledge and you want to show that hair is fun. What was the reason for starting the Discord? Was it for just getting people more involved with hair?
Yeah, pretty much. It was I encourage people to message me. So whenever I go to universities and stuff, I go in and I tell them here's my contact details. If you do get stuck at all, even if it's a dumb little thing and you feel silly, message me, because if I can just help you and then you fix it and then you keep going, there you go. It's not such a big deal anymore. So yeah, I had lots of people messaging me individually, and then I saw your Discord, And I was like, oh, this is really nice. Like, this is really good vibes. Like, it works and it's all organized. And because I was such a boomer with Discord, like, I didn't know how to really use it. Like, I had one, but I was like, eh. And the only community ones I joined were like massive ones. And I was like, oh, God, what's going on?
Subcategory chat rooms. And I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah, and like everyone's chatting. And I'm like, who's who? What are you talking about? Like, what? I can't follow. Like, how does anybody know anything? But then I saw yours and it was like a little bit quieter and just like more relaxed and clear, and I was like, oh, this is a really good idea. I'm gonna copy that.
You stole my idea.
But yeah, because I could just sorry, it's just too good. But I was like, oh, then people can like come together and they can see the history of people asking questions that hopefully might be similar, so you don't feel like, you know, you have to message me and potentially look silly. Not that you would be, but feel silly for just where you might be able to like ask somebody else or see somebody else's problem and learn from that and stuff. So
that's a really good point you say about feeling like worried that you'll look stupid when asking about hair. At least in my experience, I feel like, because there are such like amazing hair artists that are like at level 50 with hair, and you're like at level 2 and you're still trying to work out what GS curves is. That's where I'm at. I'm at level 2 right now trying to learn what GS curves is. I just can't type it into my keyboard. I can't find the G. I feel like, you know, what's good about your Discord, just a chance for people to feel open to just discuss and ask questions without being worried about maybe people being like, oh, you don't know this, you idiot.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with like any hair issue. Like, I guarantee I've had the issue before, and like it's the same with like any like character art. You know, the amount of like times that you've had like a bake error or ZBrush trying to do what you wanted to do. Like, sometimes it's the most dumb thing. Like, you just forgot to click a button, but you just don't know until somebody just tells you and fixes it, and you're good. Like, it's fine. And also XGen is very, very annoying. It's fine.
It's fine
to ask questions, and like, and I've never encountered somebody who has beef with you asking a question.
How dare
you? Know, I do it. Like, I feel silly. I'm like, nobody has ever replied to me and been like, you dumb bitch. How the fuck don't you know that? Like, nobody has ever treated me like that. And I don't think anyone ever will.
You, please say, shut up, you dumb bitch.
They just leave character on forever. Like, I make them quit the games industry.
This is the power of being a lead now. You can do that.
Oh God, don't.
I love it. Well, no, thank you for answering all these questions. Probably my like last big question is, you know, again, like what I said about, you know, I kind of imagined myself when I first started, and I kind of think, oh man, I wish I just knew this one little thing, or just this little piece of maybe just small advice. Is there any like kind of simple advice you give out for anyone that's, you know, level 1 right now, just opened Maya or Blender or whatever 3D software, and they've just downloaded GS Curve? Would you say there's any like good newcomer advice?
This is going to sound really cringe. Watch my tutorial. Self-promo, watch my tutorial. No, because I made my tutorial with beginner me in mind. So I recorded like the whole entire thing, so that even if I don't actually explain something, you can literally watch what I do. So like, you know, it's like, oh, how did she do that? It's there, you can see what I've done. So yeah, I cover the whole process, and then once you've done that, it'll take a long time, but I think it's worth properly sitting down and consuming the tutorials, because again, like for me, I'm a tutorial hater. Like, I will watch as little of the tutorial as possible, and every single time I have to go back and I have to watch it all anyway, like, because you have to sit down and watch it and absorb it and kind of get to grips with what's being taught. So yeah, watch tutorial. And then my main thing is with hair is don't be discouraged early on. Like, it will look like shit for so long. You really, really have to trust the process. Like, I was saying this the other day, like, whenever I do a hair, like, even now, every single hair that I do, I'm like, this is it. This is the one where I'm shit. I was like, this looks terrible. It's not going to work. Like, I've lost it. Right. This is, yeah, I was like, I actually can't do it. Oh my God. And then I do the next layer and I'm like, oh, okay, it's fine. Like, hair looks like shit for so long. So you're kind of like, especially if you're learning and you don't really know that, you're going to see your own work and be like, oh, it's not working. Like, let me give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. Keep going. Yeah. Like, yeah. So like, keep going. Finish it. Like, do the whole thing. I think Leia said this. Like, do the whole entire process, start to end. Complete it. Like, every single time you will get to understand why things are the way they are, why you might need a certain card to look a certain way, why this, why that, and you will learn from that and do better on the next hair. Let me think of anything else. Do something that you think is cool as well. Like, you don't have to do a messy bun. You don't have to do a ponytail. You can find hairstyles that are interesting that are also quite simple. Like, I'm a big advocate of anti-messy buns. Like, I see it too much. I'm like, it's boring. I'm sorry, it's boring. And it is an easy one to start with, but yeah, do something different. Do something that you think is cool, and then you'll be more motivated to make it look good. Anything else?
What you gonna say?
What's next? Look at reference. That is like, again, I think Leia said this too. Like, there's a difference between looking at reference and taking in your reference. Like, do model what you see and not what you think you see. Like, some just basic stuff like that. Like, really analyze and look at the hair, the way it clumps, the way it behaves, the way it interacts with each other. Just take the time to really get into that. I think that those are like my main top tips. I probably missed something really obvious, but
amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much for answering all these questions.
Thank you.
Kind of talking about hair.
Thank you for letting me talk about hair. Nobody wants to talk about it.
If you ever want to talk about hair, I'm always free. I think, like, I definitely want to do more videos on hair, and also, like, for people watching, you have a literal whole series about making hair, which is amazing. I don't know if you had any other stuff planned in the future.
Yeah, I want to make more videos, but they're very time consuming. And also, I need to take a break. I've been working too hard. Weird flex, but yeah, I'm like, okay, I need to rest, and then I can come back, make more videos. But yeah, I've got the videos. I've got like the text breakdowns on my Artstation, which some people prefer as well, because it's not me like blah, blah, blah. You can just read it at your own pace. So yeah, I've got all them. I've got my Discord. I've got me. You can message me. Yeah.
This is amazing. And I'm so happy that you've come on. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Thank you.
And again, yes, for everyone, you've done the job for me, but please do check out all of her socials and Discords and Artstations. And thank you again. Have a lovely rest of the day, and thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
I'm going to end the video now.